Hey there guys, so I'm back with another video, and yeah, this is one of those videos I don't like doing because, especially this one, as you know, I'm a massive Power Ranger fan. I do a lot of Power Ranger related videos, more than any other kind of videos, and as you probably know, since last weekend, JDF, Jason David Frank, who plays Tommy Oliver, the most iconic Power Ranger of all time, whether it's the original green, the original white, Red Zeo, Red Turbo, Black Dino Thunder, who does get involved in the comics like Lord Dracon, has died at the age of 49, who took his own life, and I'm not here to speculate about that. I don't like doing about that. JDF has made a massive impact on my life. He's one of my favorite, he's one of my childhood heroes growing up, and I just want to talk about his involvement in Power Rangers and like his era in Power Rangers, because there's so many different eras of Tommy in Power Rangers, and like just talk about fond memories of that. I don't really talk about the whole speculation stuff. Like last Sunday I was in the supermarket and I was in a massive queue, and I was on my phone on Twitter, and you know, you go on Twitter and you see tweets and say like rest in peace JD kind of thing. I'm like, what? Because at first you thought, oh, it's just one of those silly Twitter things like they did the following week before with Jimmy Fallon. But and I haven't read any news yet, and it kept coming up on Twitter, but only just by unreliable sources. So I had to go on the internet. I had to like type it on Google, Jason David Frank, and I was like, it really hit me. I mean, I think we've had so many unfortunate deaths in terms of actors, celebrities, stuff like that, but this one was like, the train hit me. I mean, you know, JDF was a hero to me. He was such an iconic Ranger, and you know what, you've probably seen, I've got so many merchandise that relates to JDF's, Tommy Oliver's, and you know what, like I keep saying JDF, I mean Jason David Frank, I mean, is Power Rangers. You got to say it. He is Power Rangers. I mean, I don't think you can the franchise can stand alone without Tommy, but I mean really, I mean, you could just tell after this death, the franchise is shattered, and you don't know if it's actually gonna heal. I mean, like Tommy Oliver, I mean, not only has he been the original Green and White Ranger, but he's been in over 235 episodes of Power Rangers. He's been in all three of the movies, the original Mighty Morphin, the Turbo movie, and he did a cameo in the 2017 movie. I mean, he has got involved in the comics a few times. I mean, the list goes on, and you know what, I mean, he was always that cool kid from the 90s, that long hair outcast, and I've always wanted a ponytail growing up, and I did get a ponytail, and I still have my hair long. But the way he spoke was like, hey man, what's up man? And I think growing up, I think I did keep saying that, hey man, what's up? And everyone hated it because it was kind of like unprofessional. I did say that quite a lot. But yeah, I mean, I don't know where to begin. And also he's been in like most of the anniversaries. He hasn't been in the 15th, and he wasn't going to do the 30th next year. I think because of other things. I think maybe they couldn't work out a deal with Hasbro, but I think he had this Legend of the White Dragon project to work on. But yeah, I mean, it was weird a few weeks ago when I was visiting my friend in London. He was asking me, do you think Jason David Frank would be in the 30th? And I literally said no, because we don't really need him, because I think the franchise can go on without him. Like in terms of anniversary, I don't think every anniversary needs to have Tommy Oliver back. You could do other things. But now it's like, oh, now I really want Jason David Frank, because you got to watch that 30th anniversary next year with the Mighty Morphin cast, and they're doing a nice tribute to Tree Trong, the Trini, the original Yellow Ranger, and now it's like, oh my god, now we have to get through another death of one of the original Rangers. But yeah, I mean, Jason David Frank, his era began in 1993. He played the evil Green Ranger, and like I said, he was that long hair outcast. He was a badass. He almost annihilated the Rangers. Unfortunately, Jason destroyed the spell. But you know, the way he was written in the first Mighty Morphin series to incorporate the Sentai footage, He always turns up. He always saves the day at the last minute. And he always finds some sort of excuse. He got held up in an audition or homework or putties. And I like that. And yeah, and I love the fact that he was a great Six Ranger. He's still my favourite. The Green Ranger is my favourite Ranger of all time. Like, that's it. But, like, Tommy Oliver is the greatest Ranger of all time, objectively. And yes, to me, I think he is to a certain degree. I mean, there are better written Power Rangers and definitely better acted Power Rangers. But that's a different subject matter. And when he was kind of like written out in the Green Candle story arc, because the Sentai footage was ran out by then, like, fans begged him to come back, so they had to like hire like Japan to do like more Zoo Ranger footage so they can use in Mighty Morphin, and they found a way to bring him back, which was great, and his hair grew much longer, and he was still like having power problems and stuff. But then when you get to series 2, and he became the White Ranger, and you know what? The White Ranger still has a soft place in my heart. You know, I love the costume design. I love like the Tiger Sword, the Falcon Sword, the white ninjetti costume. I mean, it was pretty cool, but I think the White Ranger was kind of like that hit and miss one for me. I didn't like the fact that he was written so perfect in season 2 and season 3, and I didn't like the fact that he became the leader over Jason just like that. I mean, there was no kind of build up. I really think they should have waited for Jason to leave, then Tommy took over. But you know, White Light is still such a great episode to me. There's so many great episodes with Tommy as the White Ranger. And then we got to Zeo, and actually we got into the first movie, and that first movie is still one of my favourite childhood guilty pleasures. It's pretty cool. And that scene where he uses the Falcon Sword to make so the shuttle can make the bridge cross, that is just something off Superman, which is pretty cool. But then we got to Zeo, and to me Zeo is still my favourite series to have Tommy, because there's so many reasons why I love Zeo, but of course I like the way how Tommy was handled. I mean, I like the fact he had flaws. I like the fact that he had some really good story arcs with his brother's kidnapping and his reuniting with Jason and his breakup with Kimberly. I mean, and he was turned evil, brainwashed and turned evil, which was great. There were some really great things with Zeo, and I still think Zeo is my favourite series to have Tommy. Then we get to Turbo. Turbo movie is a different subject, because I think there are some issues with the Turbo movie, of course. But I think the way Tommy was handled, I think they did a great thing with it. I think I got to admit, he did some really cool moments in the Turbo movie, and I do like him. When we got to the Turbo series, that's a different subject. Yes, I do think it's the weakest era for Tommy, but it's the most controversial one, of course, because when I think of Turbo, I think of TJ. I think TJ was a better Red Turbo Ranger. Tommy is a better leader, of course, but the way he was written, and TJ had a lot more to do. He had better focus episodes, and some of my favourite episodes of my favourite episodes of Turbo have TJ. I think in terms of the way Tommy was handled was just poorly. The way he likes race cars, the way he likes mechanics, the way like some dumb moments, like he uses an instruction manual to like drive a sword. Yeah, there was issues with that first half of Turbo. I don't like the first half, I don't like the second half. But to me, and I know, like, if we think about Forever Red or Fighting Spirit or like Dimensions in Danger, like TJ probably has like the full priority in terms of the connection with the turbo powers. It's only when we get to like Soul of the Dragon, the comic book story, and is that when he becomes Red Turbo again. But I don't think we should sideline it. I mean, I do think, yes, TJ is a better Red Turbo Ranger, but I think he's much as important as TJ, and we shouldn't sideline that. We shouldn't be like putting it under the rug. When we think of Tommy, I would always think of him as Red Turbo. Yes, his weakest era, but he was still the Red Turbo Ranger. And then we got into something like Forever Red, the 10th anniversary, still my favourite anniversary. I would be shocked if the 30th anniversary topped it. So the 10th anniversary when like Tommy recruited all the 9 previous Rangers, and yeah, that was great. awesome. That's still like one of the greatest moments in television. And it was only 20 minutes long and it was so good. And I like the fact that at the end, all the other Rangers saying like, "Oh, he's so overrated." They're all jealous of him, that was just great writing right there. And then we got into Dino Thunder. He became Black Dino Thunder. Great costume, by the way. But I like the fact he was a more older. He was a great strategist. He loved giving advice to the other Rangers when he was their age. I love the fact that he gave Trent more chances than he deserved because he was in his shoes once. I mean, there were some great things with that, and I wish we got more of that. I think there was a certain amount of episodes when he was stuck in the costume because the Jason David Frank had to head back home and do stuff. But yeah, I mean, it was just a phenomenal era for Tommy. And then we got into something like Legendary Battle. I hate Legendary Battle. I've always hated Super Megaballs. I think the way they used Tommy was fine. It was only small doses anyway. I like the fact that he helped this kid from a falling car by using Summer. That was pretty cool. I believe this may be wrong, but apparently when they did the Legendary Battle filming, the original green helmet was the same helmet they used in Fighting Spirit with the silver trimming lining. I didn't have anything wrong with that. I still put the original helmet over it, but apparently JDF got involved in it. He said, "No, we're not doing that. We're going back to the original," which was great. And then we got into something like Dimensions in Danger, which was a great tribute to the character. Originally, when he was coming back, we thought, "Oh my god, 9 times out of 10, if I had to put money on it, he would come back as the Green Ranger." But they gave it a twist. I like the fact that he had this like master morpher. He could turn into like his 4 previous Rangers apart from Red Turbo, and that was great. And I wish Dimensions in Danger was much longer. I wish like it was so good. And we got to see the Falcon Sword again, which was great. I mean, it worked so much. And then we got into the comics, and I love the fact that they're adding new layers to Tommy Oliver, but also Jason David Frank did get involved in the Soul of the Dragon storyline, which was a fitting ending to that character. I mean, we get to see his previous Ranger forms for the last time. It was a very sweet ending, and you know what? I mean, yeah, he's had a great era. Like, Tommy is the greatest Ranger of all time. I mean, I know JDF did other things. Of course, he did the Bat and Sun stuff when he did something like White Ranger versus Scorpion. He did like the Green Ranger versus Ryu. That was great stuff. I mean, and he still does. He was one of those guys. He had a full. He loved his fans. He loved talking to them. He loved spending every moment with them. And I remember seeing him back in 2015, and we only briefly talked. I remember I was getting my autograph signed. It was a picture for him, Forever Red, when he was in the morphing pose. And we just briefly talked about like, oh yeah, Forever Red's it's still like one of the greatest episodes. And stuff like that. It was a very sweet moment. I got my picture with him, which was nice. I could have met him a couple more times. There was an opportunity. I could have. It's not like I didn't want to. I think other stuff was happening, or maybe something like, oh, I just met him last year, I don't really need to take another photo. But yeah, I mean, which was so cool about Jason David Frank and Tommy, there was a sense of realism. There was a sense of like a real connection between the two. It's not like you could do with something like, I don't know, Harrison Ford and Han Solo. They're completely different. But Jason David Frank and Tommy were like so similar in so many ways. I mean, I don't know what else I could go on. I mean, I still collect the merchandise, whether it's pop vinyls, Lightning Collection, Zords. I have an original Dragon Zord, but also I have a black and gold Dragon Zord. I have a Dragon Dagger, I have a Saber. I have handmade helmets, replicas from Indonesia, which I was quite proud of. I got the Green Ranger for my 21st birthday. And I got the Red Seer for my 25th birthday, which was great. I mean, I don't know how much I can talk about this. I mean, it's a very unfortunate thing. I think the franchise will still go on. It's still going to be a very sad moment, especially next year where we're going to watch the 30th anniversary. Yeah, it really sucks. I mean, JDF has made a massive impact on my life more than any other Ranger. I think a close second would be like Jason Font, Wes Collins from Time Force, but JDF was just there. He was Power Rangers. He was the face of that franchise, and he deserved it on so many reasons. So, yeah, I don't know what I could say more. I mean, I remember a few years ago, like 4 years ago, actually did a rankings video of Tommy Oliver, which was pretty cool. I don't know where I can go with this now. I think we still have to see what happens now. It's going to be very different now. I mean, it kind of makes you think, I wish I met JDF more, but my love for JDF still goes on. My love for Tommy Oliver still goes on. I still want to collect more Lightning Collection. But yeah, JDF, thank you so much for everything you do. Rest in peace. Once a Ranger, always a Ranger.